Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, so let us start. Those are about to join. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Excuse me. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणलिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतल श्रीमते नामने नमः। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतल श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतां करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण. So we are continuing our discussion 8.8, the beautiful pastime of the churning of the milk ocean. So we are at that very interesting and critical juncture. The nectar hasn't yet appeared, but the nectarian form of the goddess of fortune, which is actually the most valuable or opulent appearance from the ocean of milk appears. Laskmidevi is that's why also considered the daughter of the ocean. So we discussed how her very, very beautiful, attractive form is described in the Srimad Bhagavat, especially in this chapter. As soon as she appeared, the very beautiful form of Lakshmi Devi was so attractive to all those who were gathered there. Practically, there was no one who did not desire for her. They could see that she is looking for a suitable husband, and all the devatas and the demons, they were hoping that Lakshmi Devi will select them as her husband. The general tendency of the conditioned soul is that the conditioned soul always wants to enjoy the opulences of the Lord for himself, especially those who are not purified souls. Prabhupada often explained this as the primary difference between the devotee and the demon. What is that primary difference? That the demon, like Ravan, wants to enjoy Mother Sita, who is the personification of Laskmidevi, for himself. Whereas the Bhakta, like Hanuman, is always thinking of how to bring Sita back to Ram. What that means? How to engage all opulences in the service of the Lord. Why? Because that is the natural thing to do. Because all opulences belong to the Lord and they are for his enjoyment and for his service. So everyone wanted the favor of Laskmidevi, and not just the favor of Laskmidevi, but they wanted Laskmidevi to be their own wife. The Bhagavatam describes after Laskmidevi was suitably honored and worshipped and offered various kinds of gifts by the various devatas. It is said Laskmidevi then with a very beautiful, she was holding a very beautiful garland of fresh lotus flowers in her hand. The way a young, beautiful, qualified girl holds for her Swayamvara. Swayamvara means where the girl selects her own husband. So this was a very common tradition in olden times, especially amongst the princesses. So especially in the royal family, the kings, various kings who wanted to marry a very beautiful, qualified princess, and they would line up, and then the princess was, introduced to everyone, and then she would select whoever she felt that she wanted to marry, and she would put the garland around their neck. Of course, there wasn't a formal introduction or something like this here, but everyone was lined up, so to say, because they could see that Lakshmi Devi holding the garland in her hand was carefully scanning the entire audience, all those who had gathered there. The Bhagavatam says that Lakshmi Devi was carefully observing each and every person there to see what are their good qualities and if they have any faults. Because she wanted to ensure that she marries somebody who is perfect, without any faults, without any shortcomings. So as Lakshmi Devi was observing and analyzing each person, in each person, obviously these were not ordinary personalities who had gathered there performing the Samudra Manthan. They were very, very qualified, powerful individuals. But she could see that while certain individuals had certain good qualities, they also had some faults. So there's a wonderful analysis across the few verses of how it is said some people whom Lakshmi Devi saw amongst those who have gathered there, she saw that they had undergone great, great austerities. Yeah? Though they had undergone great austerities, they had not yet conquered their anger. So their good quality was that they had great austerities, but the bad quality was they had not conquered their anger. And while Bhagavatam doesn't name that person who is being referred to here, the commentaries of the Acharyas hints at who that person is. So I'm going to mention. The verses don't mention. So the example here is given is that of Durvasa Muni. Very powerful, austere sage, but cannot control anger. Good qualities, but still has a fault. There were some who had very great knowledge, even though they had very great knowledge, example Brihaspati, they had not fully overcome their material desire. Very interesting. Actually, the true sign of somebody who has had perfect knowledge is that they give up all material desires. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudeva. Vasudeva is everything. They give up their material desires. They become dedicated to the Lord. But one may have a lot of knowledge, but if one's knowledge is not equaled by realization of the knowledge that he has, then that means that deficit is actually material desire. That means that full purification hasn't happened, that full realization has not happened. So there were some who were so great, very great personalities, but they were not totally free from material lust. The example is given is that of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is in charge of Rajoguna, the mode of passion. So some tinge of the modes is there. Obviously, Brahmaji is not lusty in the sense that we will commonly refer to materialistic people, but Laskmidevi's gaze was analyzing the finest of material impressions. Great personality. But still there is some trace of lust. Then there are those great, great controllers like Indra. But yet they are not independent controllers. They are also dependent on others. Correct? Sometimes somebody, may walk around as a big boss. You see, this guy is so powerful, this guy is so great, he's such a big lord. And suddenly one day you see him like a mouse in front of somebody else. You're like, hey, who's this person? This guy is always bossing around. This is his boss. His boss is usually not here. Now his boss has come, so he has become mouse. So nobody is an independent boss. All these great, great, big, big material controllers, they are also dependent on somebody else. So Indra is usually moving around like a big boss. In fact, this whole episode happened because Indra forgot his position and he offended the great sages. He forgot that actually he is dependent on others and he got cursed. So he got into a big problem. So how Indra can be the supreme controller? He cannot be the controller of all controllers. He's also dependent. So Indra also disqualified. Durvasa disqualified, Brihaspati disqualified, Brahma disqualified, Indra disqualified. Scanning. Then looking at Shukracharya, the guru of the Daityas. He is perfectly conversant with full knowledge of religion, very conversant with the Vedas. Shukracharya, no match in terms of his knowledge of the Vedas. Technicalities perfectly known. But again, what is the fault? Not kind to all living entities. This is also a very important principle. Somebody who has actually developed true knowledge, vidya vinayena shobhate. If one has truly understood knowledge with ya, what does vidya mean? With ya, that by which you can understand things as they are, vidya. Understanding things truly, not just theoretical, technical understanding, but vision to see things as they are. The natural outcome of true spiritual understanding and true spiritual vision is that one naturally becomes kind to all living entities. How? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shupake cha panditah samadarshinaha. A person who is truly learned and who can understand things as they are automatically becomes humble and a well-wisher of all living entities because he can clearly see that the same soul and the super soul are seated in the heart of everyone. Not only in the heart of the Brahmana and the sage, but also in the heart of any common man, even the Chandala, even the sinful person, even the elephant, even the dog, the cow, even the dog eater. Everybody's heart, the same Paramatma is situated. So that's why one of the external symptoms, Shukracharya very, very learned, Brihaspati very, very learned. Still, she could see there is some shortcoming. Why? Because even though they are very learned, either they have not conquered material desire fully or they are not showing the true quality of one who has actually realized in knowledge. And that is why those who are fully self-realized, sometimes they may not necessarily know all the technicalities of Vedic knowledge. But the full import of the essence of Vedic knowledge is manifested in their heart, and that is why they display all transcendental qualities which are reflected by the soul in its pure state. And one of them is friendliness and compassion towards all living entities. Non-enviousness, freedom from all material desires. These are all qualities. And these qualities do not manifest in fullness unless one has become fully free from the modes of material nature. So essentially, Laskmidevi, we could see that even though they are qualified in various material ways, there are still imperfections because of the effect of the modes of material nature. So Shukracharya had so much knowledge. He wasn't a well-wisher. Why he wasn't a well-wisher? Shukracharya sided with the demons. If somebody actually understands the proper purport of the Vedas, why he will side with the demons? He was helping the demons defeat the Devatas. Why? Because he was paid well. He was taken care of. He wasn't concerned about the welfare of living entities. He was concerned, I have good knowledge, here is the best payer. The demons pay better than the Devatas, looks like. So always the norm of the material world is for doing sinful things, for helping for sinful things, you will get paid. And that is the temptation for people often to take adharma, the side of adharma sometimes. So Shukracharya did that. You know the famous pastime of how Shukracharya was being the guru of the Daityas. He actually tried to convince Bali Maharaj not to surrender to Lord Vamana. Don't take the vow to give 3 steps. You don't know who he is. He's Vishnu. Tipped him off. He was just about to take vow. Acharya says he didn't tip him off because he wanted his welfare. Tipped him off because he knew this is Vishnu. That was his knowledge. But what was the result of that knowledge? Don't surrender. Why don't surrender? He will surrender. He will promise 3 steps. Vishnu will take everything away. Once he takes everything away, how I'll get my next pay? My employer is Bali Maharaj. My job goes. I am not going to get Dakshina anymore. So it is said Bali Maharaj rejected Shukracharya as his guru. What kind of guru is this? He is stopping me from surrendering to Vishnu. That's why Brahmanas should always be detached. Brahmanas are expected to not take salary. Because as soon as you are dependent, you cannot speak the truth. Your advice will be driven by your desires for personal gratification, your desires for personal gain. That is why the best, if we genuinely want proper advice, we should take advice from those who are not dependent on us. Because those who are dependent on us, they will make sure they only tell us that which we want to hear, not what is actually for our benefit. So Shukracharya was disqualified. Then there were some who showed the qualities of excellent renunciation. Even amongst those who were gathered, there were some who showed amazing renunciation. But despite having renunciation, they did not have liberation. They were not liberated. Which means renunciation without liberation is not such a amazing ornamental quality. There's a very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad elsewhere. Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam na shobhate. Even if one is fully renounced and detached from everything else, if he is devoid of full shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, developing devotion for the Lord, which means actually being free from the modes. Because pure bhakti cannot be attained without being totally free from the modes. We are talking about para bhakti. Our bhakti is still mixed. It's still in the modes. It's mixed with the modes. I'm not saying that it is only in the modes, but it is mixed with the modes. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one who has Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. When can a person attain para bhakti? Beyond the Brahma Bhuta platform, when one has already become freed from the modes. When it's not free from the modes, yes, you can say he's a bhakta, but still there is kind of, so many of these personalities, maybe not Shukracharya, but many of the other these other personalities mentioned are devotees in their own way, but they are not para because there is some mixture. So detachment doesn't look very good if one has not yet liberated. Sometimes what may appear as detachment is only a symptom of attachment to something else. Just imagine, you were there in Satya Yuga, you went there and you saw Hiranyakashipu performing intense austerity. So, wow, such detachment nobody has seen. It may appear externally that there is intense detachment. But what is driving that intense detachment? Because there is internally an intense attachment to achieve something through that detachment. So true detachment is actually the result of being actually free, liberated from the modes. And that true liberation is only possible when one has devotion to the Supreme Lord. And the Bhagavatam says, actually no one is free from the modes. Who is free from the modes? Actually, Laskmidevi was looking for somebody who is free from the modes. Who is free from the modes? Only two. One is the Supreme Lord and the other is his pure devotee. There were others, the Bhagavatam says, very, very powerful. In some cases, the Asuras are even more powerful than the Devatas. The example is given of Shumbha and Nishumbha, very, very powerful Asuras. Extraordinary strength, but still they will all be defeated by time, which means eventually they will die. Laskmidevi said, why should I marry somebody who is going to die? I am eternal. I want to marry somebody who is eternal. Then Lakshmi Devi says there is something very nice. She sees that there are others who have very long life, but they may not have good behavior. There may be a few people who have good behavior and long life. Huh? But there may be some inauspiciousness in their character. So the example given is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is transcendental also, and he is eternal also. Correct? He doesn't die because he's not a Jiva. But he has some inauspicious habits, not because he is inauspicious, but he smears on his body. He lives in crematoriums. He smears his body with the ash of the chitta. So, not a perfect match for me. There are some people who are also totally free from the modes, like the four Kumaras. The four Kumaras are free from the modes, but they are not a suitable companion for me. Lakshmi Devi is thinking, small 5-year-old boys, they eternally are taking that form. Their life is practically as long as the life of the universe. The four Kumaras, they were born pretty much very soon after Brahmaji began the process of creation. But not Kumaras, not suitable companions. Lord Shiva is very qualified, but not particularly also a good match because of being covered with ashes of crematoriums. So all these problems, Bali Maharaj, the leader of the demons, long life but not good conduct. So many humans may have very good conduct but very short life. Lord Shiva we discussed. Long life, good conduct, but this fault of some inauspicious circumstances around him. So after scanning everybody, she scanned the devatas, the demons, the humans, the sages, Lord Brahma, the Kumaras, all the way up to Lord Shiva. No one she saw as the perfect match. Because what she was looking for is, I want somebody who has all good qualities, no defects. And she said, I want somebody who's not hankering after me. I want somebody who's not hankering. And I want somebody who's eternal and who's not dependent on anyone else. I don't want somebody who has another boss. I want the boss of all bosses. So after all scanning, she could only find the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the one who was qualified in all ways. And that's why the Bhagavatam says, after doing suitable vimarsha, vimarsha means careful deliberation, the goddess of fortune accepted Lord Mukunda as her husband. Who's this Lord Mukunda? Who was there? The Manvantar incarnation of the Lord Ajita, who was helping the Devatas with all this Samudra Manthan and everything. He was there in his four-armed form. She saw Lord Ajita, who's being referred to as Lord Mukunda. It was not Shirodakshay Vishnu or Garbhodakshay Vishnu who was there. It was Lord Ajita who was personally present. Because he is independent, he's full of all transcendental qualities and mystic powers, and he's not dependent. He's supremely independent. That is why he became naturally attractive for the goddess of fortune. So very humbly, while everyone else was hankering for her, the detached Lord who was just standing there very peacefully. Apta Kama, the Lord is known as Apta Kama. Apta Kama means he's not looking for something outside to complete his happiness. We are all looking for something else to complete our happiness. That's why we are always unhappy. Because there is always something we find as lacking, something wanting. The Lord, Lakshmi Devi found the Lord as Apta Kama, perfect. So taking that beautiful garland of newly grown lotus flowers, he said the bees were still, it was so fresh that bees were still humming around that garland. She went and placed very humbly that beautiful lotus garland around the shoulders of Lord Ajita. And then very shyly, with folded hands, she stood in front of the Lord, requesting to be accepted by the Lord. Very smiling, in a very shy way. In her heart, having the desire that, oh Lord, please accept me and place me always, give me a place always on your chest. That was the desire of Lakshmi Devi. I want to always remain on your chest. So the Supreme Lord, who is the father of all living entities, and Rama Devi, who is actually Lakshmi Devi incarnate, the eternal Lakshmi from the spiritual world, who is incarnated now as the daughter of the ocean of milk, the possessor of all opulences, and the mother of all living entities, whose glance is sought by all living entities. Everyone wants the favor of Lakshmi Devi. She was granted the favor by the Lord to give her a resting place on his chest. So in that way, the union of Rama Devi and Lord Ajita, Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi happened on this very beautiful occasion. All the directors, of course, everyone in their heart knew that the only person qualified for Lakshmi Devi is Lord Narayan. So even though various parties were sad, but they all celebrated the marriage of Lord Hari and Lakshmi Devi. It is said the Gandharvas and the Charanas, they all started playing instruments, started dancing. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, who very well knew that she is meant to be the eternal consort of the Lord. They showered flowers on the divine couple, chanted beautiful mantras, and started glorifying the Lord. All the devatas and the prajapatis, Lakshmi Devi, the mother of the entire universe, she glanced on them and blessed them with her merciful glance. It is said Lakshmi Devi's glance is so gracious that just by glancing on all these prajapatis and devatas, it is said, she bestowed them with good fortune and transcendental spiritual qualities. So they are all very satisfied just by the glance. So that is the power of the glance of the Supreme Lord and his energy. That's why devotees are always waiting. Even for Radharani we pray, right? Tada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam. When will you cast your merciful glance? Through the merciful glance of the Lord, and even from the pure devotees, their grace flows. It is not always necessary that the Lord has to, or the pure devotees have to raise their hand and put on the head, then only blessing flows. Just when they are pleased and when they mercifully glance on us, their causeless mercy flows, and through that merciful glance, they instill in us all good fortune and transcendental qualities. So that is why we are always hoping and praying for the glance of Supreme Lord, the divine energy of the Lord, and the pure devotees of the Lord. The Devatas were very, very happy. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, one of the very important significances of Lakshmi Devi's residing on the Lord's chest. It is very beautifully that Lakshmi Devi is eternally residing on the Lord's chest, and whenever any devotee comes in front of the Lord and serves the Lord, takes darshan, renders service. Laskmidevi, who is sitting straight on the heart of the Lord, can directly see, oh, this person is engaged in my Lord's service. This person is engaged in my Lord's service. Because if somebody is facing the Lord, Laskmidevi will be the first person to see him. And that is why those who serve Lord Narayan always receive the merciful glance of Lakshmi, because Lakshmi is seated on the heart or chest of Narayan. And Lakshmi is always fixed on the heart of Narayan as a Shivatsamar, and is always situated at his lotus feet, massaging his feet. So she's always giving her, she's always there. Whoever is attentively serving the Lord, they always get the merciful glance of Mother Lakshmi. Prabhupada contrasts that with the demons. He says those who are demoniac, they try to get Lakshmi for themselves. They are not interested in serving Narayan. Those who serve Narayan, their good fortune stays with them, especially the spiritual good fortune. But those who are materialistic person who want Lakshmi for themselves, at most they may get Chanchala Lakshmi. What is Chanchala Lakshmi? The temporary material benedictions of Lakshmi which are flickering. Chanchala. In this material world, Lakshmi never remains with anybody. Chanchala. Chanchala means today she is there, tomorrow she is not there. Anyone who wants their good fortune to remain steady, they must take shelter of the lotus feet of Narayan. In that way, their good fortune will remain steady. So in this way, this very, very beautiful ceremony happened. So in this Manvantara, because this pastime is from the Chakshusha Manvantara, this is how the marriage of Lakshmi and Ajita happened. So in every Manvantara, there is a Manvantara avatar. So Manvantara avatars are avatars of the Lord, which have a four-armed Vishnu Murti. When we discussed about the pastimes of Gajendra Moksha, at that time the Manvantara avatar was Lord Hari. In the first Swayambhu Manvantar, the Manvantara avatar was Lord Yajna. So in every Manvantar, the Lord takes a particular incarnation. It is said this particular incarnation, the Manvantara incarnation of the Lord, they stay in a Vaikuntha planet, which is within the material universe. So above Brahmaloka, there is a Vaikuntha planet within this material universe. There is a Vishnu Loka, where this Manvantara avatar along with that consort stays. If you remember, when we were discussing the previous chapters, there was a reference of how Lord Vaikuntha, the son of Vikuntha, I believe that is the pastime of the Tamasa Manvantara, the fourth Manvantara, if I'm not wrong. You can correct me if I am making a mistake, but in one of the previous Manvantaras, it said the son of Vikuntha, whose name was Vaikuntha, he married Laskmidevi and he created a spiritual planet where for the pleasure of Laskmidevi. So in every Manvantara, this pastime is performed. So there is said to be this special spiritual planet of Vishnu Loka, where the Lord and Laskmidevi, whom he marries in every Manvantar through different pastimes, they reside there for the period of the Manvantara. So in every Manvantara, there is this beautiful pastime of the Manvantara avatar and Laskmidevi, and in different ways they get married. In this particular Manvantara through the Samudra Manthan pastime, and then they reside in that Vaikuntha. This is the same Vaikuntha planet where the four Kumaras went. Four Kumaras did not go to the Vaikuntha beyond the Viraj. And the four Kumaras went to this Vaikuntha Loka, where the four-armed Vishnu incarnation is residing. The Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who's in the milk ocean, is practically unapproachable for almost all. So that's another interesting piece of information. that even within this universe, apart from Shirodakshay Vishnu, who's residing on Dhruvalok, there is also another Vishnu Loka, which is above the Maloka, where the Manvantara avatar resides. So this is the beautiful pastime of the marriage of Lord Ajita, Laskmidevi, in the Chakshusha Manvantara. So even in the current Manvantara, who's the Manvantara avatar? Anyone remembers? Which Manvantara are we in? Anyone remembers?
Vaivasvata Manvantara.
Yes, Prabhu, correct. And who's the Manvantara avatar? Vaivasvat Manvantara. Anyone remembers? Our Manvantar. Who's the Manvantara avatar? So in our Manvantar, the Manvantara avatar is Lord Vaman. Lord Vaman is the Manvantara avatar. So he is currently residing in this Chaturbhuj form in the Vaikuntha planet above Brahmaloka. Okay, so that is the official residence of the Manvantara avatar along with their consort. Anyway, so this beautiful pastime happened. So after this very beautiful, wonderful episode of the marriage of Lord Hari and Lakshmi Devi, the journey of the milk ocean continued. There's one more thing which is mentioned. That while the Devatas were happy with the marriage of Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi, the demons became very upset. If she had accepted me, I am so qualified. What is this? What is this, Vishnu? I am. The demons are always like this. They are by nature envious. They always think that they are better. The Bhagavatam says the demons became depressed and bewildered and frustrated. They were so frustrated that they couldn't marry Lakshmi Devi. So they practically became shameless. And very interestingly, by the Lord's arrangement, immediately after Lakshmi Devi's appearance and this whole marriage thing, the next appearance from the churning of the milk ocean was a lotus-eyed goddess known as Varuni. This Varuni is a special goddess who gives the Varuni drink, the intoxicating drink. And she is the controller of the drunken people. So as soon as she came, all these frustrated asuras, hey, we want her. So Lord Vishnu gave his permission. Okay, Devatas, you remain. This is not for you. Let them take Varuni. So very happily. This is the thing that the demons want. Correct? What the demons want? Wealth for their enjoyment. And with that wealth, what kind of enjoyment they want? Woman, wine, meat. So immediately they took possession of this young girl, all the demons, headed by Bali Maharaj. Again, after that, they all continued churning the milk ocean. So Varuni is with them. Finally, what they were all waiting for, the climax, they said from the milk ocean, a very wonderful male entity appeared. Very strongly built, broad shoulders, very strong, stout neck, beautiful conch-shaped neck, marked with 3 lines. Beautiful reddish eyes, complexion was blackish, very young, garlanded with beautiful flowers, fully ornamented, all over his body, dressed in yellow garments, beautiful pearl earrings, the tips of his nails beautifully polished with oil, very broad chest, strong like a lion, a very, very attractive, wonderful personality. And in his hand, he was carrying a jug, a kalasha, which contained the nectar that everyone was hankering for. Who was this person? The Bhagavatam describes this person was Dhanvantari. Who's Dhanvantari? The Bhagavatam describes that he's the Amsha of Bhagavan, a part of the Lord. He's also an incarnation of the Lord, but their incarnations are different power, different capacities. He's the Amsha of the Amsha. So there is Kala of the Lord, and then there is an Amsha, which is a smaller part. But this is an Amsha of the Amsha. And this Dhanvantari avatar of the Lord was carrying this Kalasha of Amrita. It is said that he was perfectly learned in Ayurveda, in the science of medicine. And he is also one of those devatas who has a special position in the performance of yajna as one of the devatas who is qualified to receive the offerings in yajna. So, in the yajnas, amongst the various devatas who are made offerings in the Vedic sacrifices, Dhanvantari is also. In fact, in Ayurvedic clinics, you will often see that there will be a murti of Dhanvantari. He is their boss. He is their principal of the college. In fact, traditionally, Ayurvedic medicines are often offered to Lord Dhanvantari before they are even given to patients, because the power in the medicine is understood to be coming from the Supreme Lord. Anyway, the interesting thing that is mentioned in the Bhagavatam is as soon as Dhanvantari came out with the nectar, up to that point, everybody was very disciplined, standing in their line, doing their job. As soon as Dhanvantari came out and the demons realized that the nectar is here, they didn't wait for anything. They forgot all their pact. They didn't care about what they had agreed. They just ran and snatched the pot of nectar from the hands of Dhanvantari and ran away in a direction. Especially the more powerful demons. And the devatas who were thinking, Array, the nectar will come, after that we will share, we'll do one division process, everyone will get. They were shocked. Array, we have been working so hard, and the demon just snatched away the nectar and ran away. And they all turned to Lord Ajita. Oh Lord, what is this? We worked so hard based on your guidance. Look what has happened. The demons have snatched it away. Lord Ajita, he comforted the demons. He said, don't be aggrieved, don't worry. You cannot expect any better behavior from the demons, but don't worry, I have a plan. I have a good idea. Using my Maya energy, very soon I'm going to delude these demons in such a way that they will start quarreling amongst themselves, and your desire to get your nectar, I will manage it for you. And sure enough, as soon as the demons, the more powerful demons, snatched away, a quarrel erupted in the camp of the demons themselves. What was the quarrel? You cannot drink. Why you snatched it? You give it to me. I will drink first. I am more senior to you. First give the nectar to me. No. I am more powerful than you. Me first. They're all fighting amongst themselves. And these are all the powerful demons fighting amongst each other. And then those who were not so powerful amongst the demons, they were thinking, Arey Bapare, what is this? They are quarreling so much amongst themselves. At most, one of them will get. What will happen to us? We have been also working so hard, so we will not get. So suddenly they became very wise, the smaller demons. They started giving good advice to the more powerful demons. You see, we agreed to equally share, no, with the devatas. Why you are fighting? amongst yourselves. Let us settle the matter. Let us be fair. Let us be fair. They were not interested in fairness. They realized unless they argue fairness, they will not get anything. Only the more powerful demons will distribute it amongst themselves. So this is the nature. This is the kind of fairness amongst thieves. Thieves are anyway stealing, but after stealing, they want to say, oh, we'll be very fair and distribute it fairly. But the moment one person gets a chance to run away with the loot, he will forget all the other thieves and run away with the loot. So that is the nature of demons. So in this way, this kalaha amongst the demons was going on. The powerful ones were saying me first, me first, me first, and the lesser powerful ones were saying no, 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 let us sit down, let us call the devatas also, let us do a fair distribution. So as this whole confusion was going on, suddenly it is said, Lord Vishnu took the form of a very, very beautiful woman who's famous in the scriptures as Mohini, extremely attractive woman, especially attractive in such a way that she will madden the senses and the hearts of the asuras. 4 or 5 verses are there describing her beauty. I'm not going to go through all the description, but feature by feature, Mohini Murti, her beauty is described. When we see the transcendental form of the Lord, it's also extremely enchanting. But the transcendental form of the Lord is not disturbing to the mind because it is not made of Mahamaya. It is made of the superior transcendental nature of the Lord. Correct? The Lord says that I appear. Even when I appear in this world, the Lord says, I sambhavami atma mayaya. The 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, I come by my atma maya, my spiritual energy. I don't take the Mahamaya form. But this form of Mohini Murti is made of the Mahamaya energy, using the maximum attractive potency. It is said Maya has 2 kinds of potencies. Avaranatmika and Prakshepatmika. Avaranatmika means that potency of Maya which covers over our real knowledge. And Prakshepatmika means that attractive potency of Maya which attracts our enjoying propensity and just makes us irresistibly attracted and hanker for materialistic enjoyment. So this was full-blown Prakshepatmika. Of course, Avaranatmika and Prakshepatmika go together, but here the Prakshepatmika was very, very powerful. It was just madly their senses in all ways. They wanted to touch her. The smell that was coming from her aromatic body was maddening them. The tinkling of her ankle bells was going into their ears and agitating them. All their senses, the sense of sight, they wanted to touch her, such a beautiful, soft body that she has. The aroma of the flower garlands and the perfumes that she was putting. Very beautiful, clean sari that she was wearing. And on top of that, what is the most irresistible charm of a woman? Not only beautiful, not only nicely dressed and all that we described, but most of all, the beautiful movement of her eyebrows as she was glancing at these demons and looking at them, making everyone feel that she's attracted to that particular demon. When a beautiful young girl looks at a lusty, materialistic person and moves her eyebrows, the heart of that lusty person comes out like, in such a way that he becomes totally bewildered. So she was smiling at them in a shy, bashful manner. She was glancing over them. She was just maddening them. It is said all the demons were saturated with lusty desires. And each and every one of them, the only thought that came in their mind is how I can possess this Mohini Murti. If not Lakshmi Devi, at least Mohini, I want. And this is where this chapter concludes, where Mohini Murti has appeared and all the demons have become irresistibly attracted to Mohini Murti, wanting to possess. So obviously, what has happened, and we'll discuss this in detail in the next chapter, what has happened is, suddenly from a mode of quarreling over the Amrita Kalasha, now they have become totally distracted and their heart and intelligence, being deluded by the attractive potency, has become totally shifted from the Amrita Kalasha to how to get. So in that way, the Lord, through this incarnation of Mohini Murti, bewilders the Asuras. And what happens next, we will discuss in the next chapter. Thank you very much. So stay tuned. The devotees of Lord Hari, those who are transcendental devotees, they are not meant to be attracted by the Mohini Murti. We are wanting to be attracted by the Lord's spiritual form of Tribhanga Lalita. In the Bhagavatam later, not in this canto, but later, there's a beautiful pastime of how Lord Shiva wanted to see the Mohini Murti. And Lord Shiva also got into trouble when he wanted to see Mohini Murti. So anyway, we'll not go into that today. We'll wait for that suitable occasion. But the Mohini Murti is not a, even though it's an incarnation of the Lord, it's a specific form where the Lord manifests a form of Mahamaya, his Mahamaya energy, to attract the hearts of the materialistic. Yes, we'll take questions. Yeah, Suresh Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, I always have one confusion. Can you tell me what is the difference between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya?
Mahamaya is the material energy, Yogamaya is the spiritual energy, in very simple words.
So the covering which God does, effulgence, that is Yoga Maya or Mahamaya?
The covering which is there for the conditioned soul, which eclipses their true knowledge of their real spiritual nature, is
Okay.
Mahamaya.
Okay.
The meaning of Yogamaya, very simple words, is that Maya can also be understood as energy. Maya has various meanings. Maya in its most basic meaning means the energy.
Okay.
So Yoga Maya means that Maya which connects one to the Lord. Yoga means user.
Okay.
So the Yoga Maya brings one closer to the Lord. And Mahamaya takes one away from the Lord because it eclipses one's real knowledge. Sometimes Yoga Maya is also described to be covering, but the covering that Yoga Maya does is of a different kind. The Mahamaya's covering takes one away from the Lord. The Yoga Maya's covering brings one closer to the Lord. What does that mean? That sometimes Yoga Maya may conceal the real nature or the real power and potency of the Lord just to allow the devotee to come closer to Krishna and have a relationship with him without having the awe of knowing the Lord's power and greatness. The Jiva is always conscious of the greatness, like in Braj, the Yogamaya potency hides the Lord's power. Only his Madhurya is, the Lord covers over his Aishwarya, his power.
Yeah, bro.
So there the Yogamaya covers, but she covers in a way to hide the Lord's Aishwarya so that the Lord's Madhurya stands out. And in that way, the devotees of the Lord can come closer to the Lord. So there is some aspect of covering, but that covering is for the purpose of causing yoga, which means to bring the devotees closer to the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll stop here. So thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you everyone. So I'll see you next Saturday. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanapana.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much.